My name is Lonnie Ballard. I'm Assistant City Manager for Public Services, City of Albany. My job is to assist the City Manager in the day-to-day operations of the city, which include city employees, but mainly my management portfolio consists of providing oversight to planning and development, engineering, public works, Parks and Recreation, Civic Center, Community and Economic Development. First job, well, we started out working with my grandmother, and grandmothers love to spoil their grandkids, but she wanted us to sort of work for some of the things that we got. So every fall, we would be responsible for going over and raking leaves, cleaning up the yard, and so it sort of caught on. Neighbors would start asking, "Oh, the grandkids coming over? Can they get my yard?" And so we sort of actually did every yard in the neighborhood. I guess my first pay was it. I'm sure it had to do something with back to school. Getting supplies, or kids like sort of that first day of school, new outfit, something dealing with getting prepared for back to school and probably saving a little bit. Well, I think that the city has a lot to offer for a city this size, and I think that um, sometimes that's overlooked. I mean, if you look at, you have Albany Tech, you got Albany State, you got Darton. If you look at cities this size, how many cities can say that they have that many institutions of higher learning? You have amenities from the River Aquarium to Chi Hall. I mean, top rate um, amenities that folks would love. You have a natural resource, the river. You can't create one of those. Um, uh, how many cities would love to have that natural feature in their city? So we must continue to sort of highlight those achievements. These are things that really, I think, set Albany apart from other cities. And so we can't see them as and I understand that, in any city, in any government, funding is a challenge. But I think that we have to remember that these are still assets, and how do we continue to protect them, and how do we highlight them for other folks to see and to draw, newcomers in. Challenges, some of the obvious is jobs. You hear that all the time between jobs and education, a better educational system, creation of more jobs. Um, but I would say something that is not as obvious is community engagement. I think that the answers to many of the city's challenges lie right here in the city. Part of it is engaging those solutions, engaging that knowledge, skill, and ability, those folks to come to the table to help solve the problem. It's very easy to point out what the challenges are, but it really takes participation and work to sit at the table to help to solve those problems. So we certainly have to get folk to take ownership of full ownership of the challenges, and to commit themselves, their resources, whether it's their time, whether it's their knowledge, to helping to solve those problems. Um, I enjoyed my time at Cayman Islands. Um, just appeared to be white sand and blue, clear water, um, the perfect breeze. That's something I could envision myself doing, just sort of laying on the beach, taking it easy, really enjoying the all of the natural resources that are around us. Really low key. I really, really, really enjoyed the Cayman Islands. So if I could go back, I'd certainly do that. Um, to be patient. A lot of people will ask, particularly young people, is how did you become an assistant city manager? And I don't necessarily think there's one path to, to that or to becoming a public manager. Um, I think that you need to really take the opportunity to learn in the position that you are in. And I just think that progression is natural. You don't have to force it. But I know when you're young, you have that degree in hand, you want to come out and be a manager. And I would say don't rush to, 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 to necessarily be in a position of um, assigned leadership. I think that people can lead in many forms and you don't necessarily have to have a title to be a leader. But I do think that you have to take the opportunity to be prepared. And so in that is being the best that you can be in the position that you are in and to learn all that you can learn and to find mentors, people who can invest time, resources, knowledge, and I think those are the folks who can help you with some of the critical decisions that you'll have to make in order to achieve some of your goals. I'm going to go back to my grandmother. She was a great influence for my family. She was the person that sort of really helped keep all of the family together. And so to sit down and have lunch with her, she's no longer living, just to let her know that we're okay and that we've turned out pretty well. um, and just to sort of get from her what she would feel about some of the things that we've done and we've achieved, as well as to maybe get a glimpse of what the other side is like. Yeah. Well, my mother was a great influence in my life, and I think that watching her um, work and work hard was instrumental into my development, my character development. So I certainly attribute the way that I was reared to the person I've become. But there have been many others who have played a role, from people in faith community to educators, your first teachers, folks who see something in you and decide that we want to continue just to invest things outside of just the classroom and the books, but to help develop other talents and skills, and other public sector folks, city managers, even professors in colleges. So I sort of take all of those things, those attributes that they showed me, and have tried to incorporate it into the person and the professional that I am today. I think probably something that will help me with illumination, maybe a flashlight or lantern or a match, something of that nature, something that to provide shelter, a tent, um, and something to keep me strong, probably the Bible, something that's going to help me to sustain my faith. Well, what I like to do, I like to travel as much as I can, and just to see new things, new places. Um, I am one of those people who if I'm riding down the interstate or in a community I'm not familiar with, I'll sort of look at a house or a community and I just wonder how those folks live, what the culture is like in this particular community. So that is something that intrigues me. I like experiencing new cultures. So traveling affords me that opportunity. So anytime I can travel and to learn new things, I try to do that. Uh, I think I do have some thoughts about my future, but I'm not so rigid to think that it's going to necessarily happen the way I think it's going to happen. But I think the key to it is just always being prepared. And so I try to continue to develop myself professionally to learn new things because often when you learn new things, new paths can develop, and so that's been my goal is to continue to develop professionally, um, and to not to be so rigid as to that it has to be this step, that step, next step, to be open to possibility. So I'd like to stay in the public sector and continue um, to contribute to my community. Um, but I'm not, I'm not necessarily locked into that. I think that this is a big world and there are many ways that I can use my knowledge, skills, and abilities to ultimately make a better place. That's one thing that I like about public service is that at the end of the day, that I know that I'm making some type of difference. And any work that I do, I'd like to have that as my goal, making a difference.